So I haven't read any comics surrounding Venom, and I haven't seen any representation on screen besides the 19th cartoon for a few episodes, and then Spider-Man 3. And then I played one game called Webs of Shadows, which also represents. So that is my interaction with Venom, so this should be good. My name is Daidarius and welcome to the review of Venom. So Venom stars Tom Hardy and he is playing Eddie Brock, but he's not the Eddie Brock that you know, because even though I haven't read any comics, I still know who Eddie Brock is. He's a piece of shit character. Down on his luck, but he's a piece of shit character. Shit a piece. He's a shit a piece character. Not a piece of shit, he's a shit a piece. But anyway, the movie opens up with that Eddie Brock is indeed not a piece of shit character. He is not down on his luck, he's up on his luck. Can you say that? Is he up on his luck? Things are going right for him. So Eddie is engaged and ready to get married. He has a lovely fiance. He lives in a great apartment. He has a great job. And he now needs to interview this director of the Life Foundation, because that can only be a good place, I guess. The Life Foundation have just received one of the spaceships from outer space, who have of them on board samples of the symbiotes. And they crash landed, and Eddie Brock then finds out that some of the astronauts died and wants to, poke some holes in this man's defense. But he is not allowed to, because this man can get you out of a job and a fiance. So that's exactly what's happened. And then 6 months later, Eddie Brock has no fiance anymore. He doesn't have the apartment anymore. He lives in a shitty apartment. If you think that Peter Parker lived in a city apartment in Spider-Man 2 and 3... This is not as bad, but it's still pretty bad. And he has no job anymore. So he is now finally down on his luck. And then we wait a long ass time. I think 30, 40 minutes. But after that, Eddie Brock investigates once again the Life Foundation, because now they are using the symbiotes on human test subjects, and the human test subjects are dying. So he investigates this, and then the Venom gets attached to him, and then our movie begins after fucking 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, that's not much to the plot. But that is the movie basically. So after 40 minutes, this movie is going. So what do I like about this movie? Well, I like a few aspects of it. First of all, I like the Venom character in himself. The way he was talking to Eddie throughout the movie and the way he acted was a bit terrifying, but also a bit goofball. And one of my friends who reads the comics says that is Venom. He is a terrifying character who can rip people's arms and legs off and bite their heads off and kill people left and right center, but he's also kind of a goofball. So I guess that is a good representation, but nonetheless, what he is in the comic, it works well in the movie, especially their interactions between each other. It really makes it seem like Venom is his own thing. I also like the way they represented the symbiote, because in Spider-Man 3 it was a very aggressive kind of Venom symbiote gooey thingy, whereas here they kind of went a different way. It kind of made it like some slime would act. That the slime you can get in those small cans. It was green, smelled like shit or something. You could throw it at things and it would stick to the wall. Do you remember those? No? Is it just me? But anyway, it looked like it was a big pile of that slimy gooey thingy. So it would be a thin layer where the symbiote was attached to a surface, and then above that, behind that, there will be the more thicker layer of the symbiote itself. It's hard to explain, but you would notice when you watch the movie, and I just like the small details like that. I also like the fact that the symbiote was kind of behaving in different ways, because there were separate identities of beings. I don't know how to explain them. They were just different. Tom Hardy also acts pretty well, given the fact that he is a man who hears voices, and sometimes his body does something he cannot control, and he's just terrified and afraid of what's happening to him. Is he dying? Is he in trouble? What's going on? Is this thing gonna murder him? Is he accidentally gonna murder his loved ones or his friends and families? We don't know. He doesn't know. And just the way he portrays this character is done fairly well, even though that Eddie Brock is not intimidating or angry or anything, except that he is now out of a job and out of an apartment and fiance. He's not that aggressive. In fact, he is not aggressive at all. He doesn't want to start a fight. He doesn't want to, I don't know, rub something or punch people's faces in. And I can't really remember if that is also how he is in the comics, but again, that doesn't matter because we need to see him in the movie. And it does make a great opposite for Venom, who is just attacking and punching people's faces in all the time, to have then a complete opposite in Eddie Brock, who is his host. So it made a great dynamic. It also has an extremely entertaining and well thought out car chase, even though if you think too much about it plot wise, it doesn't make that much sense. But it is entertaining to see this symbiote sticking out of his size and then attaching to cars and then flipping them around and then doing something with his own limbs so that he goes faster or turn or making a shield or whatever. Just the scene itself is well played out, and just the Venom abilities in general is quite unique. And I like the fact that it didn't show him just swing around, because in the comics and in Spider-Man 3, the Venom got those abilities because it was attached to Spider-Man, whereas here it is never attached to Spider-Man. It goes directly from space to Eddie Brock. So they didn't make him swing around and just used some other kinds of his abilities. And I like that fact. The movie also has some quite good humor. Most of it, of course, is Tom Hardy's reactions to whatever Venom does. But nonetheless, it does have a few good chuckles thrown in there. Now, I'm pretty much running out of good things to say about this movie. And I have a big issue with this movie, but I will save that for the last part of the cons. But let's just dive into my problems with this movie. So first of all, this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a comedy? Does it want to be a superhero movie? Does it want to be a comic book movie? Or does it want to be a horror movie, a sci-fi movie, or anything in between? It's from one scene to the other, it just shifts genres all the time, which makes it pretty hard to invest in this movie, which is a bummer because it really feels like a lot of the team behind this movie really tried their best to bring Venom to life on the big screen, but it doesn't work at all. And also some of the effects they're not good, let's just say that. And I get why they had most of the action sequences with Venom at night, because then you couldn't see the bad effects, but they were not great. And speaking of the action sequences, a lot of them with Venom in them was just shot extremely poorly, especially considering that you now have a digital camera. You are in a digital environment. With a digital camera, you can move that camera however the fuck you want. So at least try to put in an effort to let us see what fuck is going on, instead of just throwing that camera every fucking where except on the main character. I can't explain exactly how bad they did it, but trust me, you will have a hard time figuring out what Venom is doing instead of just jumping around and grabbing stuff, I think, but I don't know. And then there is a whole other problem, considering that this movie is not rated R, but yet they want Venom to rip people's limbs off and bite and chew their heads. So every time he does that, they just cut away. You see the reaction of someone, and then they cut back where you can kind of see they're missing a limb or a head and is chowed away, and that's pretty much it. So movie, either you want to be rated R or you want to be rated PG-13. You can't just have it both ways. I'm sorry to say, you can't. Then there's all the hoops this movie's plots trying to jump through just to make its stories just works. And just the fact that we have to wait for so long before Venom gets attached to Eddie Brock it is mind-boggling. How is that not your priority number one? How long did it take before Spider-Man in the first Spider-Man movie got bitten by the spider? I'm pretty sure it was in the first 5 or 10 minutes. That was it. Then he was ready to become the Spider-Man hero. Yes, it then took another hour for him to put on the suit, but he already had the power and was exploring them. Here, they need to set up how Eddie Brock is, even though it's pretty easy. You don't need to have the first part of the movie. You can just have him been down on his luck and then maybe feed into that he was once engaged with this movie. Or is it even important as he escaped with that woman? I don't think so. No, it is not important. The movie just wastes too much time setting things up to make sure that everything is in the right place so shit can happen. And that is just downright bad storytelling. And then there's the villain. Holy shit. The villain, he is bad. He's not just bad. He is downright evil. Pure evil incarnated into one human being. He doesn't give a flying fuck about human life, and you just sit there. How can you be so evil and then be in that position? I'm just questioning things here. I mean, you are definitely a psychopath. You are a murderer. Did you just murder your way to the top? I mean, who would work with you? Who would work for you? No one. It is almost like he gets off by getting people murdered, and he is as deep as a paper. That's not the analogy. He's a cardboard. He's a cardboard riddle. Cardboard cut villain. He's just boring as fuck. I hated him. I couldn't stand him. And it's not like because he was the bad guy we need to hate him. No, it was because he was boring. He brought nothing to the movie except of just being a villain. Johnny English Strikes Again had a better villain than this movie. That says a lot. And then there is a point that it hasn't anything to do with this movie that we got, so I shouldn't criticize this movie for something that I want out of it. That's not how reviewing works. However, this movie was first planned to be an R-rated horror movie, and you need to think about this. Try to imagine that you have a symbiote attached to you. There's a symbiote attached to you who can then transform you into this big, hulking, big-teethed, long-tongued monster who likes to eat people alive. And then you have to live with it. You know it's happening, but you can't stop it. And every time it just retracts into your body, you are left with the horror of what you just did. You can't be around your family or friends or police or anyone. You are terrified out of your mind. That could be an extremely well done and interesting horror, psychologically horror movie. And then it will be a comic book horror, psychological horror movie. Something we haven't seen before. You have the opportunity to push boundaries of what we expect of comic book movies. But no, because fucking Sony wants to play it safe, so they need to make a PG-13 movie with an anti-hero who eats people alive. PG-13. We need to sell it to the teens. I understand Deadpool needs an R rating. And I understand why Wolverine needs an R rating. But this one screams R rating. So why not put him in an R-rated movie, especially a horror movie? Venom just looked like a movie horror monster. Why not use it? Instead we just get this bland, okay movie, but it is just so much wasted potential. And I just hate when studios get in the way of pure creativity. And I know the studio needs to step in to make sure that the project stays on rails and on the path so it doesn't get derailed all the time. I understand that. But don't hinder the movie like that. Come on. Doesn't mean that a horror rated R Venom movie would have worked. No, but we will never have one. And we then mix in the fact that this movie is trying all the genres in the world at the same time, PG-13 rated. It just doesn't work. It just seems like they were trying really hard to make this a horror movie, but the rating itself just hindered their way, so they had to go for the Marvel funny movies that we have known and loved now. But I don't want that. I have the MCU for that. I want something different. I want something unique. I want a reason why you're making this Venom movie. We don't have one. And the ending sucks. The ending, borderline, fucking sucks. You don't know what's going on. They're finding a bad guy. The bad guy you know nothing about. They're trying to make the bad guy intimidating. But again, you haven't seen the bad guy doing any bad guy stuff. So why should the bad guy be intimidating? And then they set up a sequel in the most boring, cliche way. That scene was a waste. Now it might seem like I hate this movie, and in some way I kind of does, but it's only because of the potential I saw in an R-rated horror movie starring Venom. But there's still a lot of enjoyment found in this movie, especially the interactions between Venom and Eddie Brock. So it is a fine movie, but it's not the best movie. So I will say that Venom should catch it on Netflix. My experience. Well, at least we got a better representation of Venom than Spider-Man 3. You got damn right we got that. Spider-Man 3 representation of Venom was just borderline shite. So you got that going for you, which is nice. So Venom, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And what is your favorite comic book anti-hero? Let's go with that. I don't know mine. because I don't read that many American comic books. So, in case you haven't noticed, this is Japanese manga, so now you know what I want to read. But anyways, whatever you think, and whatever is your favorite comic book anti-hero, comment below and read your thoughts. And as always, until I see you in the next video, remember to stay awesome. Bye! So how fast will it take Venom to just lick chocolate ice cream? I want to see that. No, I don't want to see that.